And welcome on in, WagerWeekly.com for a week 2 in the NFL. Paul Nolan joins me as he does each and every day right here to break down your NFL card. Monday night, a double dip on Monday night. We'll wrap up week 2. Paul Nolan, 2 very interesting games. We'll go first to 289-290 New Orleans on the road to Carolina. Of course, we talked about the Panthers and first-round pick Bryce Young. Looked like a first-round pick last week. And now you've got a New Orleans team coming in that looked pretty good. Did not cover week 1, but they scored a touchdown late. Obviously got the win. David Carr looked decent. Seemed like he was really seeing some things on the defensive side of the ball. Saw some of the NFL films, kind of sideline video during the week where he was talking to his receivers, talking to his coaches about what he was seeing on the defense, where to take some deep shots. Obviously, it worked out as they got that deep shot really to put the game away. So it seemed like he was seeing some things, obviously, clearly. Played a decent game. What do you see here as New Orleans now goes on the road to a spot where really you would hope they could take advantage of a team that obviously is just going through the growing pains that we know all teams in this situation go through?
It looked like two different teams, to the second half. They started to really, as you said, they started to take those deep shots and they were available. And it was, you could see that it looks to me like, Carr could end up being very comfortable in this offense where, he's one of those guys. He's like a little bit one of those I don't want to say sensitive because, Derek Carr is one of those guys who's like, he needs a little support from his coach. And, the way he was treated last year, it's just not conducive to him. Some guys can handle it, other guys can't. So I like what I saw from Carr, and I do like what I saw from the coaching staff last week, but I'm not fully sold, but I am sold on New Orleans defense, and I do think it's going to be rock solid. But Panthers, to me, played better than the score last week. The Panthers, to me, looked to me like, they had the ability to maybe shock people. And if you remember last year in the second half of the year, we rode this Carolina team when they made the coaching change. We rode them and people thought we were crazy, and they covered quite a bit for us, and we made some money on them. So I feel like there's some value on this Cat team where, they got some weapons. They got some things here that I like. And I like the O-line. I like Bozeman and Ekwano on the offensive line. And Moton is still solid as a rock. I mean, he's been around a long time. He had a couple great years. Last year, he started to come back to form. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him, start road grading people because he's a good run blocker. So, I'm okay with this team right now, but I'm not ready to back Bryce Young because he did look frenetic to me. I didn't like what I saw. And, look, in fairness, this New Orleans defense is fast. Marshawn Lattimore, when he's playing inferior receivers, he's a bully and he's tremendous. So, sometimes it takes a superstar to give him a wake-up call. But I do think he's going to be able to handle Shark, and I do believe he'll be able to, handle Tre'Davious Mingo. And I think this is going to be Jonathan Mingo. Forgive me. I think they're going to be able to get this thing done and and keep it close. But I'm not ready to put it in my circa. I'm not ready to put it in my. I'm definitely not ready to put it in my Westgate tournaments just yet. I'm looking for better value on teams I know a little bit more about, which is what makes week 2 so damn difficult. But Browns and Steelers, we had the Browns last week, Dave, right? We both agreed we liked that game a lot. It was your best bet, my best bet. And, I did lose with the Steelers last week, and they looked absolutely abysmal. Do I expect Mike Tomlin to let that happen 2 weeks in a row at home? Really hard for me to believe that. And I do think that we saw a very shaky Joe Burrow last week, who looked pretty injured. We felt like watching that game that there was no chance that he was going to get a ball downfield. I think we both agreed that we never, when he had even time to throw, that it would be an issue for him finding the receivers. Now he's going against a Steeler defense, that has some issues in the secondary right now. And the Browns secondary has some issues right now. And I don't know, man. I just don't know if I could pick the Browns or Steelers in this game right now because I can't see Tomlin letting them falter. But the Browns impressed me quite a bit last week. They didn't look to me like they were out of place at all. So forgive my miscue there, guys. I'm sorry.
I don't know that I could play the Browns only because I actually watched the Browns last week in the game. And what I saw was a Deshaun Watson that we still do not have the Houston Texan Deshaun Watson. I mean, yes,
Without a
obviously
doubt.
Burrow and Cincinnati had all kinds of problems. So Cleveland, I mean, you look at Cleveland, they don't allow a touchdown. But realistically, for me, you got to look deeper than that. You look at Deshaun Watson, and I look at that team right now, and I say if he doesn't have Nick Chubb behind him, this Browns team is in a whole heap of trouble. So to me, the takeaway was the quarterback got him through the game. They didn't lose the game, but not impressive enough for me, especially what he did at the quarterback position. He's still not back to what he was, not even close, in my opinion, to where the player he was in Houston. That's the reason I don't think you can – I couldn't look at them on the road against a Pittsburgh team that's going to be hungry to rebound.
Yeah, no, I'm with you because I personally think Denzel Ward is banged up and he's not all that good in the backup. I can't remember his name, but he's not all that good. And Martin Epperson on the other side, I don't think a whole lot of him. I thought he was overgraded by PFF last year. I think he's easily beatable. So it really comes down to this defensive line. So Darius Smith was phenomenal last week, and obviously Garrett is to me, he might be one of the best overall defenders in the league. I like him as a run defender. I disagree with his grading over at PFF, but his pass rush is off the chart. I mean, his win rate is incredible, especially when he's got a little help, like with Darius Smith in there, which is still inexplicable how anybody lets him leave the team. I mean, he just gets better every year. He's just a tremendous, tremendous player. So I think that's going to be a big deal going forward for this team. And, I think we've talked about Dalvin Tomlinson is just a real strong player. He got bounced out of the Giants because they had such a strong interior line, but he's a nice player. And I think this D line is going to be really strong all year. So if that D line gets going against him, against this offensive line, which I thought was going to be better than what I saw last week. They were abysmal last week. Pittsburgh will have a chance, but I'm not ready to bet on Pittsburgh's offensive line or Tomlin to get these guys going in this game right here. But I would have to lean towards Pittsburgh if I had to. Again, another super low total in this NFL. We know defenses always start faster. So to me, my lean would be either Pittsburgh or the under. And my lead would be Carolina. The only way I really feel like I could do this on a Monday night would not be a parlay, it would be a teaser. And I would end up taking the Panthers. I would take Pittsburgh and hope both of these games slug it out, grind it out, shorten the field, battle it out. And I'm hoping the young quarterbacks, Pickett and Bryce Young, don't give up pick sixes to destroy, the +8.5, +9.5 you're going to get on both of these games in a two-team tease.
All right, there you go. There's your Monday night double dip to end week 2 in the NFL right here at wagerweekly.com.